Welcome back to the Win the Day show, and I hope you're excited as I am for this episode, because what we're going to be doing here in episode 14 is continuing the lessons that I have learned from the people who I've had the great privilege of interviewing, some of the most accomplished people on the planet. I'm going to be revealing to you the secrets that they told me to help take your life, your business, and all parts of success to the next level. The best part, regardless of where you're at right now, you can apply these lessons in your life. These are the things that are still in my mind each and every single day that inspire me, that drive me to more happiness, more success, and to make more of an impact. So I hope you're ready. Let's get into it. What I want to do is start off with a quick recap of the lessons that we shared in episode 13, because what we're going to do now is a direct continuation of those lessons. So what we spoke about in episode 13 was number 1, view success as an obligation. Number 2, thoughts become things. Number 3, build a life that gives you energy. Number 4, take purposeful action every day. Number 5, be competitive. And number 6, reframe adversity. So we're going to continue that list right now. We're going to start at number 7. So without further ado, let's get into it. Number 7 is play the long game. And the person that I want to share here is entrepreneur, best-selling author, and philanthropist David Meltzer, who I first met a few years ago at the Fairmont Hotel in Santa Monica when I was interviewing him for Think and Grow Rich Legacy. And from the moment we met, I felt this energy, this professionalism, this willingness to help in such a way that I'll probably never forget it. And last year, I had the opportunity to go and speak to his company, Sports One Marketing, down at Irvine. And I could tell that Dave's commitment to excellence in all areas of his life has clearly rubbed off on his team, who all shared these same values and had a great energy as well. So the quote that I wanted to share from Dave says, "Don't negotiate to the last penny, always be fair, and don't do business with dicks." So it's a bit of a three-pronged quote, that one. Don't negotiate to the last penny, always be fair, and don't do business with dicks. In this digital age, let's quickly think about what most people are doing. Most people are ramming their product or service down other people's throats. Instead, Dave focuses on playing the long game, and that simple strategy has enabled him to build an enormous network of people who have exponentially increased his effectiveness in all areas of his life. Now, anyone who knows Dave personally will tell you that he is an absolute terminator when it comes to getting things done, whether it's raising money for a charity or getting people to an event or even just helping his clients. He is amazing at all those things and whatever he sets his mind to. So when Dave says, don't negotiate to the last penny, always be fair, he's emphasizing the importance of maintaining integrity in business and everything that you do. You need to use any dealing as an opportunity to show your true character rather than thinking in terms of how you can screw the other people over. That's also what ties into the second part of the quote, always be fair, because the fairer we are with other people, they're going to have that mutual respect, which is going to enable us to have opportunities from and with those people in the future. Now, the final part of Dave's quote that he shared with me, don't do business with dicks, is probably pretty self-explanatory. I've done business with dicks before. It's a horrible feeling, but unfortunately, those dicks can be hard to find out from day one, but experience has taught me to trust your intuition when it comes to people. So that's a mistake I don't intend on making anytime soon, doing business with dicks. So remember that. And also remember to never accept toxicity in your life, no matter what form it's in. Life's too short to be around energy vampires, negative people, and those who don't align with your values. So that's number 7, play the long game. Number 8, create and consistently offer value. Create and consistently offer value. The person that I want to share for this lesson was John Lee Dumas, who many of you might know from the huge entrepreneurial podcast, EO Fire. JLD said to me, build an audience that you serve with free, valuable, and consistent content. Now, when you talk to most authors and business coaches, everyone talks about the importance of finding your tribe. However, if you truly want to make an impact, you don't need to find your tribe, you need to build your tribe. Now, JLD should know, he went from being a rudderless military veteran who returned from the Middle East and he bounced from job to job, unsure of what he wanted to do, until one day he created a podcast that in 7 years has enabled him to make more than $16 million for his business. So that, of course, begs the question, well, what can you do to build your audience? Well, you need to create and publish free, valuable, and consistent content. As that community grows, you can hone in more on those common pain points that the community faces and start to offer paid solutions to alleviate the problems that your audience is having. Once you've established that trust through continually offering value, the community will grow like wildfire. And once you reach that point, you're only limited by how big you dare to dream. So for professionals and entrepreneurs looking to build their business, your entire model should come from, first of all, creating a clearly defined audience and then focus on how much value you can add to them as possible. Value all comes from being crystal clear about your clearly defined audience and the problems they are facing, because the more in tune you are with the problems they're facing and the more you understand that problem, the better your solution will be. And if you're not growing your business, if you feel like you're going backwards or you're treading water or you're not getting the conversions that you want, it's likely because you don't know enough about or you haven't clearly articulated the problem that that clearly defined audience is having. Or maybe you haven't even clearly defined that audience in the first place. That's such an important step and something that I work on constantly with all of my clients as they seek to grow their business. Too many people are focused on what they can take from others. But the real magic comes, as you've heard me say on this show before, the real magic comes when we give more than we get. So that's number 8, create and consistently offer value. Number 9, the answer is always yes, you can. Now, last week I did a speech in Los Angeles where I spoke about how to reframe your vulnerability into a strength. And when you do that in the right way, the sky really is the limit for everything that you can do. The quote that I wanted to share for this lesson was from Jim Stovall, who told me, no matter what the dream inside you is, the answer is always yes, you can. Anyone who's read Think and Grow Rich: The Legacy is going to remember Jim Stovall's story, but for those who haven't read it, I'm going to give you a really quick recap. So at the age of 17, Jim's dream was to play in the NFL, but he was sat down by 3 doctors who told him that they weren't sure how and they weren't sure why, but they do know that very, very soon he's going to go totally and permanently blind, and there is nothing they could do about it. Imagine that, your entire world literally fading to black. Rather than wallow in his own pity, no one would have blamed him if that was the decision that he made. Jim realized that there was no way for blind and visually impaired people to consume television shows and movies in the same way that other people could, people who had their vision. So that was a problem that Jim realized was faced by tens of millions of people around the world. Despite his own physical limitations, Jim went on to be the founder of the Narrative Television Network that now provides programming solutions for blind and visually impaired people in more than a dozen countries around the world. He's also the author of 30 best-selling books despite being blind. Yeah, that's right. The author of 30 best-selling books despite being blind. Even more amazingly, he hadn't written a single book before he was blind. So think about your own life right now. Whatever excuse you have for failure or for not achieving what you want is totally invalid. That might seem harsh, but it's true. When you find yourself questioning whether you can start a business, whether you can write a book or achieve any other dream that you have inside of you, the answer is always yes, you can. That's number 9. Number 10, create your own luck. Now, most of us are able to do the work when other people are watching, but it's what we do behind the scenes when the lights of accountability are off that proves how committed we are to our success. One of the simplest ways that you can stand out is through an extraordinary work ethic. That habit extrapolated is what allows opportunities to come to you rather than you having to chase them. And think about that. That is one of the most profound turning points in my life when I realized that the entire foundation that I had set up meant that opportunities were coming to me rather than me having to chase them, because then you can basically just pick and choose what you want to do. The quote I wanted to share with this lesson comes from NFL Hall of Fame quarterback Warren Moon. Now, Warren told me, I always worked hard, so whenever the door of opportunity knocked, I was ready for it. I always worked hard, so whenever the door of opportunity knocked, I was ready for it. Now, what that quote doesn't tell you is how many doors were actually slammed in Warren's face on his journey. Warren Moon was the first black quarterback to be the face of an NFL franchise. So much so that when he wasn't granted an opportunity in his home country of America, despite his incredible talent, he had to move to Canada to play in the Canada Football League to show America how great he was before he was finally welcomed into the NFL for the first time. Now, Warren's ferocious work ethic for a long period of time, not just in high school, university, but also moving to Canada, that is what enabled him to create those opportunities that transformed his entire life and made him one of the most influential figures in NFL history. And I was also chatting to a good friend of mine in Australia the other day who was approached by a major television network who was interested in creating their own podcast for the first time, and they want my friend to be the face of it. That is a huge opportunity that would accelerate my friend's career many years faster than she would have if she had have been doing things on her own, because of course the exposure that a major media company can provide. My friend was only granted this opportunity because of all the work that she has done to this point. Another overnight success 10 years in the making. Stand out through your actions, the work you've done to this point. So when these life-changing opportunities emerge, you're ready and able to make the most of them. And better yet, those opportunities then become branches to even more exciting opportunities down the line. In fact, the opportunity to write a modern companion to Think and Grow Rich, that never would have been granted to me in the first place if I hadn't have proven through the work that I had done for 10 years before that I would do a good job if I was given the opportunity. So remember, your future is entirely dependent on you, no one else. Follow the advice of NFL Hall of Fame quarterback Warren Moon and create your own luck. That's lesson number 10. Our last lesson now, number 11. The most important opinion is how you feel about yourself. Wow, this is probably the most important. Think about in this social media world that we live in, it's very, very difficult. It's increasingly difficult to have a good sense of self-worth. And the quote that I wanted to share for this lesson comes from my very good friend Janine Shepherd, who told me, "I just don't listen when people tell me I can't do something." Hopefully by now you have heard Janine's story. It's got a TED Talk with millions and millions and millions of views. It's the very first story of Think and Grow Rich, The Legacy. It's literally the best story that I've ever heard in my entire life. That's how it became chapter 1 in Think and Grow Rich, The Legacy, because I knew it needed to be number 1 to set the tone for the whole book. Believe me when I tell you that Janine knows what she's talking about when she talks about or reiterates the importance of self-belief. Janine used that self-belief to defy medical opinion, where today she can walk, she can bike ride, and she can ski despite still being classified as a paraplegic. She's also the most kind-hearted person you could ever hope to meet, despite everything that happened in her life and all the things she still deals with today with chronic pain. So just remember, on this success journey, there's going to be a lot of critics, a lot of doubters, a lot of haters, who attack your business, your dreams, your progress, and your voice. But just remember, regardless of how loud the noise gets, the most important opinion is how you feel about yourself. So that's the 11th and final lesson from this series. For a quick recap of the 5 lessons we spoke about today, number 7, play the long game. Number 8, create and consistently offer value. Number 9, the answer is always yes, you can. Number 10, create your own luck. And number 11, the most important opinion is how you feel about yourself. If you haven't heard episode 13, go and check it out for the first 6 lessons in this series. Now, I hope you've enjoyed these. These are the lessons that completely transform my life and what I use each and every single day right now to help me keep leveling up in everything that I do. These 11 lessons will do for you what it has done for all these extraordinary people and what they have done and continue to do for me as well. The reason I didn't make it one super episode is because I wanted to make them readily digestible pieces that you can listen to or watch if you're watching on YouTube, and then go and take action. Because as Napoleon Hill said, action is the real measure of intelligence. Before we go, I just wanted to give you a quick reminder that you can go and join our Win the Day Facebook group where you'll get access to exclusive live videos and you can mingle with like-minded people who are all interested in winning the day and taking their personal and professional lives to the next level. So click on the link in the show notes or in the description below and you can come and join this Win the Day Facebook group. That's all for episode 14. Get out there and win the day. Until next time, onwards and upwards, always.